What if the two deadliest predators in history met face to face? Not in a movie, not in an animation, but in a real confrontation where the laws of nature decide everything. Imagine this, a dense forest, 68 million years ago. The earth trembles, the trees split open, and there in a small valley, two giants see each other for the first time. One has 3 horns and a bone collision that can break rocks. The other is almost twice as large, with teeth like swords and a bite that can crush an entire car. But who would win? In the next few minutes, you're going to find out. And believe me, the answer might be very different from what you think. But how did we get to this moment? It all starts with a simple question. How much weight do you think a Tyrannosaurus Rex could lift? Think of the largest elephant you've ever seen. Now multiply it by 5, then multiply it by 5 again. Still, the T-Rex would be heavier. And it's not soft, flabby weight, no, it's muscle, bone, and concentrated force. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was the perfect hunting machine. It weighed up to 13 tons, something like 9 passenger cars stacked into a single animal. Just imagine the head. It was almost 1.5 meters long. An entire human would fit comfortably in its mouth. And the teeth? Each one was about 8 inches long, sharp as stone daggers, perfectly curved to pierce and not let go. But the true weapon of the T-Rex wasn't size, it was the bite. The bite of a T-Rex generated a force of up to 12 tons. Imagine 12 tons of pressure concentrated on a single point of your body. No other carnivorous animal that ever existed had a bite like that, not even close. The modern lion bites with roughly 1,120 pounds of force. The T-Rex? That's 20 times more powerful. We're talking about 26,400 pounds of crushing force. That changed everything. Now, do you know the Triceratops? You probably do. 3 horns, a neck that looked armored, and a temperament that would make any predator think twice. The Triceratops weighed about 9 tons, still an absolutely monumental giant. Its front and side horns could measure up to 3 feet long each. That's longer than your arm. The bony frill that covered its neck and head was as hard as steel. But here comes the interesting part. The Triceratops wasn't a predator. It was a herbivore. It ate plants. So why mention a predator and a herbivore together? Because the herbivore was more dangerous than you imagine. Have you ever seen a rhinoceros charge? That 2-ton animal that can hit speeds of nearly 31 miles per hour and stops for nothing? The Triceratops was 4 times heavier and almost as fast. Its horns weren't decoration. They were biological weapons developed over millions of years specifically for defense and to impress other Triceratops. Those horns could pierce, tear, and impale. And then, what if they met? Think with me for a second. The scene is a clearing in an ancient forest, somewhere in what is now Montana, in the USA. It's late morning. Light filters through the ancient pines. And there, coming from opposite directions, 2 giants emerge. The T-Rex sees first. Its eyes, and here's an important detail, were very good. Better than any modern eagle. The T-Rex saw movement with extraordinary precision. It sees the Triceratops. Its brain processor makes the calculation quickly, potential food. But wait, its predatory instinct recognizes something. That animal has active defense. It's not common prey. It's not a helpless youngster. It's an animal capable of fighting. The Triceratops, in turn, sees the T-Rex and recognizes the threat immediately. Its body changes. Its muscles stiffen. The posture shifts. It lowers its head slightly. The horns point forward. It's already ready. But what happens if they really collide? Let's run a simulation. Imagine this as a real scientific experiment, because it is. We're using data from paleontologists, biomechanical engineers, and collision physics experts. The T-Rex begins to charge. It doesn't run at speeds of 43 miles per hour like some movies suggest. Actually, scientific studies show that roughly 20 miles per hour was far more realistic for an animal of that mass. It sounds slow, but it's not. Imagine a passenger car driving straight toward you. The Triceratops also runs. It's faster than the T-Rex. Estimates suggest it could reach speeds of roughly 28 miles per hour, but it doesn't go far. It knows it needs to defend its position, not run. Its horns need to face the enemy. The collision. The T-Rex tries to do what it does best. Bite. Its jaws open. It can open its mouth at a 90-degree angle, almost maximum. Its teeth descend like knives, but the Triceratops's front horn reaches it first. Imagine the physics. 9 tons of Triceratops moving toward the T-Rex. The front horn, with its tip sharp as a lance, connects. And here's the crucial point. The Triceratops has perfect muscular symmetry. Its body was designed for this exact type of attack. Its back muscles, leg muscles, and neck muscles work in perfect synchronization. The result? The T-Rex is knocked backward. But wait, it's not just that. Because the T-Rex, even while being pushed back, manages to do what it does best in this moment. Bite. Even as it's being driven back, its jaws close, possibly on the Triceratops's horn or on the frill protecting its neck. Those 12 million newtons of force, translation, absolutely monumental force, concentrates on anything it can reach. And now we have a real biological stalemate. But wait, that's not the most interesting part. The best part is understanding which animal wins this confrontation and why. Let's talk about endurance. The T-Rex, despite its size and power, had a fast metabolism. It burned calories quickly. A maximum force attack, like a bite with full power, drained its energy. Studies suggest the T-Rex was more of an ambush predator or quick strike hunter than a prolonged fighter. It depended on surprise, speed, and initial impact. The Triceratops, on the other hand? That animal had muscles designed for endurance. It spent the entire day eating plants, walking for miles, fighting other Triceratops for dominance during mating season. Its body was forged for prolonged conflict. Its metabolism was more balanced. So, here's the scientific verdict. In an initial show of brute force, the T-Rex has the advantage. Its bite, its size, its initial muscle acceleration puts it in position to win quickly. If it could land a single decisive blow, a bite to the neck, for example, it would be over. But in a prolonged fight, the Triceratops has the advantage, because endurance beats power when time is on your side. And the T-Rex can't maintain that maximum power for very long. And here's the plot twist. Most confrontations between these animals probably never reach this extreme combat point. The weaker animal, the one that recognized it would be at a disadvantage, would back down. It would retreat. Because in nature, fighting to the death was a luxury almost no animal could afford. A serious injury meant death from infection weeks later, when you were vulnerable. So both animals made a quick assessment and decided, it's not worth it today. But if they had to fight to the end? The data suggests T-Rex wins 7 out of 10 confrontations, Triceratops wins 3 out of 10. But why does the T-Rex win more often? Because the bite is a more efficient weapon than horns in close combat. Let me show you why. A horn works like a spear. It's lethal, but it needs space. You need distance to gain speed to impale. But a bite? The bite works at any distance. If the T-Rex could bring the Triceratops close, that 12-ton bite at a weak point, maybe the neck or the side of the body, could be fatal. And the Triceratops, despite its courage and strength, had a critical weak point. Its body could defend the head and neck with horns and frill. But the sides? The body? If a T-Rex could maneuver, and yes, T-Rexes could coordinate movement and tactics to some extent, an attack on the side could be disastrous. Now, the big question everyone wants to know. If you had to bet, would you bet on one? Think carefully. If you could watch these two animals fight on a computer with realistic physics, where would you put your money? On the gigantic predator with the devastating bite, or on the herbivore with active defense and endurance? And here's the challenge. If they fought 10 times, how many would each one win? Do you think it would be 7-3? Or 6-4? Or maybe the victory would be more evenly distributed, since both had strengths and weaknesses? The answer isn't just biology. It's also tactics. It's strategy. It's luck. It's who gets hurt first. In the comments, tell me, which one are you betting on? And why? Do you have a different answer from mine? I want to know your guess. But let me tell you something most people don't know about how these creatures really interacted. We know, from fossil evidence, that T-Rex sometimes attacked Triceratops. We know this because we've found Triceratops bones with T-Rex tooth marks. But do you know what's even more interesting? We've also found T-Rex bones with marks from Triceratops horns. Some paleontologists speculate that these attacks sometimes ended with the T-Rex being wounded, perhaps seriously. This changed the dynamics of nature. The wounded T-Rex was more careful next time. It was less aggressive. The successful Triceratops in its defense learned from that experience, not through genetic change, but through lived knowledge. It wasn't that these animals evolved differently, it was that each Triceratops or T-Rex learned from its own fight and survival experiences. An animal that survived a confrontation became more cautious the next time. This knowledge was passed through observed behavior. Youngsters seeing how their parents acted, learning which tactics worked and which didn't. It was pure learning, lived experience, not biological change. This is nature in action, intelligent animals adapting their behavior based on what works and what doesn't. That's real wisdom earned through survival. And this brings us to a final point. Which of these animals was really more feared? The answer? Both, each in its own way. The T-Rex was feared as a predator. When it was hunting, everything in the forest moved, everyone retreated, everyone hid. But the Triceratops was feared in a different way. You didn't fear being eaten by a Triceratops. You feared being trampled or impaled by one. It was a different kind of fear. It was the fear of something that doesn't want you as food, but hurting you is collateral. It's defending. It's protecting its territory or its family. And that animal wasn't going to stop easy. Now I want to ask one final question that I really hope you answer. If you could choose which of these two animals you'd encounter in a prehistoric forest, which one would it be? Which one would give you the best chance of getting out alive? Because here's the truth. Encountering a T-Rex was probably death. But encountering a Triceratops? Maybe, just maybe, you could hide. Stay quiet, and then it would move on. The Triceratops wasn't looking for you. It was eating plants. But the T-Rex was always looking for food. Leave a bet here in the comments. Tyrannosaurus or Triceratops? Which is your favorite dinosaur? Which do you think is more deadly? And tell me, if they really fought today, with all the rules we talked about, do you change your answer or stick with your bet? Hit this video with that prehistoric like. You know it deserves it. Share it with your friends, especially that friend who's always arguing about which dinosaur is better. Let's see if he changes his mind with the science we showed here. And please subscribe to the channel. We have more incredible matchups waiting for you. Because if you enjoyed discovering who would win between these two, wait until you find out about the 7 deadliest dinosaurs of all time. That video is going to shock you. There are dinosaurs in there you didn't even know existed, and believe me, they make the T-Rex look like a kitten. So that's it. What was your prediction? Want us to analyze another dinosaur matchup? Drop your guesses in the comments, share with your friends, and let's uncover together the mysteries of these prehistoric giants. Until the next video, explorer!